Happy Sunday. It's February the 11th, 2018. This is Bertie Lavorne, and this is the Faith Leap podcast, episode number 5. I don't have any country stories because the weather's been miserable. It has been slushy and snowy, icy, just it's a mess out there. So we haven't been spending much time living the country life. So I want to just read this funny little quote that I saw the other day. And it said that, let's see, God made man because he loves stories. I love that. Because we're all like making our own story. How many stories does eternity have to offer? Wow. But I wanted to talk today about the signs that I had experienced and that I opened myself up to learn how to surrender into doing the work that I signed up to come do here on this earth. And I think the universe gives you signs the entire way. It's just if we don't have on the right set of glasses, we can't see the sign. And the signs for me, I had one really strong sign that kind of blew open everything that I needed to give me that swift kick into changing my life spiritually. Now, 1997, I had a 7-year relationship with a gentleman who was a very devout atheist. And he did not have a spiritual bone in his body. He just believed that when we pass on, that's the end. It's like turning off a light bulb. But I never really truly believed that. And I didn't feel like I had a partner that I could grow with in that feeling that I had in my soul that really wanted to just break free and try to start learning about ancient teachings and Eastern philosophies and, Greek philosophies and even Roman Catholicism. I didn't have that partner to have those exchanges with. So I was in somewhat of a pickle. I needed to stay and I needed to go for various reasons. So I taught myself how to meditate. I bought one of those little how-to books, like for dummies. It was like How to Meditate for Dummies. And it was 1997, and I think it had just been released. And I learned a very simple technique of when you're laying in your bed, just trying to melt into the mattress. And there were many days that I completely failed that and fell asleep. And then there was a few times that I actually hit that release. But I was open and I was learning. And one night, it was in 1997, as I said, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with the brightest white light that to me looked like an angel sitting on the side of my bed. And I was astounded, and I knew I was awake, and I was sitting up. And then I became so fearful that I pulled the covers over my head and got underneath the covers and just was like, what in the world was that? Was that like the Grim Reaper coming to take me off onto another dimension? I had no idea, but I knew it was real. And I knew that there was an exchange or a download or something that would, it was all for a reason. It was all going to, it was the kick in the teeth that I needed to say, hey, keep going on your studies, because there you'll find what it is that you're looking for in your spiritual world. And I didn't want to go out the next morning and just say, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this, but there was an angel on the side of my bed last night. Because that would be like saying, hey, there's a gaggle of fairies playing out in the sandbox. You know, it's just like, okay, is she all right? But it happened to me, and I knew it was real. And it did set the course of my next path. I had, after this experience, I had this insatiable desire to read everything that I could get my hands on, um, from the writings of, Babel and the Babylonian society, all the way down to fundamental Christian beliefs. I just wanted to read it all, and I wanted to hit on one that felt right to me. And I did hit on one, and Taoism kind of like was the one that resonated with me so strong that kept me going over into Eastern philosophies. But I think a good piece of that was because I had an amazing teacher that would offer free little gatherings, little get-togethers, little sit-around and storytelling kind of gatherings in this bookstore. And her advice and her wisdom was always so prevalent. I met my first charlatan there too, who was one of my greatest teachers. This, when you run into a charlatan, the hairs on your arms are going to stand straight up, because there's something that turns the alarm bells on. But I did turn her into one of my greatest teachers. This person who, the only way that we can ever describe her is as a charlatan. So I say all this because it's, the spiritual journey is such a personal event, but a lot of it has the same backstory, and that is once you get that thirst for knowledge, and you really start reading about all of the different ideas that have floated around for millennia, you kind of understand that what you have to do as a human being is find what's right for you. If you dig shallow holes, that's what's right for you. If you go to church every Sunday and you find it the highlight of your week, that's what's for you. Don't let anybody take that away from you. And when we boil it all down, I think everyone has said the same thing, and that is, you need to treat your neighbor as you would want to be treated. And also, it really boils down to a concentrated statement of, it's all about love. If we love each other, if we realize that we're one soul, there is no color, there's no creed, there's no race, there's no political divisions, there's no red, no blue, there's none of that. We're human beings, and we're on this planet or plane, whatever it is, and we're together, and we're all the same species. We're supposed to take care of one another. We're supposed to love one another and help one another. And we are breaking down from those thoughts. We're dividing. I'm not going to divide. I just think that everything is supposed to be loved and cared for. Every being in this planet. Anyway, that's all I got. Happy Sunday.